everyone doing? Thank you all for coming to our town hall. We wanted to create an opportunity for anybody who's interested to come hear directly from a representative of the city agencies to bring all your complaints, all your concerns, and bring it directly to the folks who can respond and give you some more detail. The way this event is going to go, I'm going to give a little bit of an overview. Sorry, I forgot to have the slides here. We're going to give a little bit of an overview of what we've done to the area, then we'll kick over to sanitation, then transportation, and then we'll open it up for all of your questions or concerns. We also have here a couple things. Sometimes when we do things like this, people will say they have an issue and they'll take it to the person, but then we don't get that information, so we can't follow up with them to make sure it happens. So if you have a particular issue, you can put it on this form, or you can put it on the blue paper you have. Just make sure you give it to us on the way out with a way to contact you. We recognize a lot of you, but a way to contact you, just so we can for sure follow up with the agencies. We have pens here if you need. Additionally, we are starting participatory budgeting. So the many people in the community propose many different projects. We have a final ballot with a lot of projects on there. You get to pick your vote, drop it in the box, don't fold it, and then sometime at the end of May, we'll be able to announce who won and up to $1 million that you all get to choose what to do with. So that's there. In the front is Fran on our table. On your way out, we have a couple different documents. One has like per community board, a lot of the investments we've done in the last year. So it'll have like what we spent on capital for each community board, so you can grab your community board sheet if you want. Bushwick is community board 4. Cypress Hills, City Line, East New York is 5, and if you're in Brownsville or if you live in what some people call Ocean Hills, you can also grab 16. So we're going to get started, and if you need other types of chairs, because I know these are backless and not always comfortable, let us know, we'll drag something over. Dom is here from my team, so you can flag him down if you need anything. And lastly, I just want to thank this, the space is donated to us by Riseboro, so we've been able to use this space, so thank you, Riseboro. And we'll just get started. Also, we have some stuff like respectful rules, like don't shout over each other. If you have a phone call, leave it in the hallway. You know, just like so we can have a productive conversation. Okay, so for the 37 Council District, just a couple of things we wanted to highlight that we've been able to do over the last 4 years. Some are related to sanitation and beautification, as well as transportation. We've been able to plant, fund, and support the planting of 665 trees across the district. We've been funding an 8-hour, 6 times a week truck, a DSNY truck that is available for dealing with dump outs, things that you all call in about. They're able to deploy. They do that for about almost 30 weeks out of the year. And we can follow up with more information during your presentation about that. We also do very targeted supplemental cleaning in certain areas of the district that have ongoing challenges. So the North Conduit, for those who are on the east side, you see the North Conduit always has a lot of stuff going on in there, the green space. For those of you in the Bushwick side, North Wyckoff Plaza is an ongoing challenge that we work with. We have a monthly task force with a lot of different agencies, so every month we get together and try to problem solve what's happening around North Wyckoff. We also fund cleaning around Knickerbocker Plaza. So we have ACE, which goes all the way down Knickerbocker Plaza, turns upwards north on Myrtle, and then goes down Wyckoff. So they do that about 6 days a week. And that's with ACE, which is an organization that has red shirts and walks around in the bins that you might see. And then we also have focused sanitation efforts and DOT efforts in the East New York Industrial Business Zone, which we'll get into more, and also around Broadway Junction, and also where Atlantic Avenue and the conduit split. We've got some issues there. So we've been able to put targeted resources there, which we'll also highlight in their presentation. So over the last 4 years, we put about $500,000 million into just cleaning it up and trying to plant trees and keep the area clean. Through actually participatory budgeting, folks voted for 4 DSNY cameras. I'm proud to say those are all installed finally throughout the area. We're not going to tell you where because they're meant to be surprises for people who are illegally dumping. We also put a lot of money into the supplemental cleaning down Fulton Street. Fulton Street is a very, very long corridor. It takes a lot of resources. We have Ace down there almost 6 days a week cleaning that up. And we've given basically through litter pickup, graffiti removal, that's about $100,000 a year just for additional cleaning on top of what DSNY does. It's a lot of money that goes to keep the area clean. We work with Big Reuse for composting and tree care. Again, we do the mobile litter patrols with DSNY. We also fund some organizations that help keep community gardens going. The Ridgewood Reservoir gets money. There's an organization that cleans up the reservoir, keeps the Upper Highland clean in addition to parks. The New York Restoration Project, we've got tree giveaways, and then some of you might be citizen pruners. We've funded citizen pruner classes in the past. So we put a lot of money into trying to keep the area clean, try to keep it looking nice. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of volunteer support additionally from people in the community. There's a lot of local groups that also help. They do self-organized cleanups, and we work with DSNY sometimes to get them trash bags, pickers, all sorts of things to help everybody chipping in and making the area clean. So I'm going to kick it over to sanitation. Okay. So sanitation, you all have some slides that you all sent over. Do you want to give a little presentation?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Guys, I know it's hard, but I understand. My name is Mr.J. I'm Assistant Commissioner appointed Revenue Affairs at DSNY. You cannot hear me? Is that so?
Yes, I hear you better when you're not the one.
Thank you. So my name is Mr.J. Is that clear? I'm Mr.J. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm from DSNY. I'm here with my colleague. I'll tell you who he is, and then I have another colleague here as well. Ms. Valerie. She's a Chief Engagement Officer at DSNY. This is Chief Diorio from DSNY as well for Brooklyn. So, Chief, how are you? Good. So, as the council member said, by the way, council member, you did a very good job earlier. We went through what we do and what we've done in the district. But I'm not so sure if you mentioned to the community that you did give us $200,000. Did you talk about that? I really forget. Okay, now let me tell you guys about what she did for you guys. The council member actually gave us extra money, for extra cleanups and pick-up in the district. In areas where we have problems, people just, people leave someone not to know all the time. And our staff usually will come with what we can based on our limited budget. But your member give us more money, $200,000, to ensure that she has a truck that is assigned to this district to help to pick up garbage in areas and refuse that you guys see most of the office knows. She tells us, the team, with the chief, they go out there and they clear it. Now, based on this slide, I think you're going to touch upon most of it earlier, but I'll... Well, okay, so, chief, so we have Jamaica Avenue and Elder Lane to UK. As you can tell, this is the before picture of it, and at the bottom of it is the after picture of it, what we did when the thing came out to clean up, based on what your member brought to our attention.
This is along the Jamaica Avenue. Yes. This is along the cemetery on Jamaica Avenue. This is a non-problematic location. We're well aware of the illegal dumping over there and the cleanliness issues. It's serviced regularly, weekly, more than weekly, and it is monitored by our staff almost every day. So, that's this same area, yep. These areas, you see the areas that tend to attract illegal dumping, not in front of somebody's house, not maybe an area they think nobody's gonna complain about, and out of the way spot, these dead zones, these no man land. This is a major issue right here for us, location. Atlantic Avenue and the Conduit Boulevard, there's the underpass there, there's the, another one, a spot we're well aware of, we address it regularly. We were just there last week, multiple times. We had our lot cleaning unit, in this green space right here. They worked in there for multiple days with machinery, front end loaders, dump trucks, weed whackers, rakes. So we cleaned up the area. They did a great job over there. We have as well homeless issues in this area, on the underpass, as well as up on the hill, on the Conduit side, up on the hill on the Atlantic Avenue side. So there's, and then in this green space behind the Glen dead end, the Weldon dead end, that's how we access it, that's how they access it. So there's multiple encampments in here we're well aware of, and we address when power allows and when it's set up. More of the same location. Jamaica Avenue, Canton, Highland, another hot spot. Broadway, Stewart, Eastern Parkway. Now we're into another district. So we are aware of this area. We're doing it regularly. Broadway is checked daily. This is in LMK 4. This was just cleaned on Friday. Another hotspot area that we're well aware of. We check it multiple times a week. There's several, this is another homeless area. So there are several challenges involved with addressing this area that we face, but it is monitored and is addressed fairly regularly.
Yes, I think the member talked about this earlier. Wyckoff Plaza is a major area in the district, clearly of concern for us, and we've actually spent a lot of time and resources trying to mitigate some of the issues that we see here. And NYPD does work with us from time to time as well to mitigate some of those issues that we see. And I know the member has some ideas and some plans that she has around Wyckoff Plaza. I'm talking about it briefly, but nothing too crazy yet. What to do with it moving forward. That discussion, I'm sure, will. Exactly. So that's going to happen very soon, we hope. But as you can tell from this information, we got 11 drug operations with NYPD as of 3/7/26 this year. 119 inspections were done, 62. Now, this is a vendor enforcement area, which is an area that I do oversee. We try very hard when it comes to vendor issues. To be very respectful, to understand where people are, but at the same time, there are rules that must be upheld. The fact that you're a vendor doesn't mean you have the right, therefore, to litter. Nor do you have the right, therefore, to block pedestrians from walking on the sidewalk. There are rules that govern vendor issues in the city. We are mostly about compliance. We are not really about just coming to enforcement's sake. We try to be in compliance. When we inspect you, if you do not have what is required to vend, unfortunately, we give you a warning. The first time, maybe second, maybe even third time. After the fourth time, I instruct the officers to indeed issue that individual a summons. And they pay $25 again on what it is that they are taking from them. If you are vending for food, it's a different story entirely. To be quite blunt, my instruction to the team was this, and I'll share with all of you here. When it comes to food, I'm sorry, I have very zero tolerance for people actually vending when it comes to food without the proper licensure to do so. Because it's food. People eat, people get sick, unfortunately, if the food is not prepared well, or handled well, excuse me. So on that point, please, if you see us being a little bit high-handed when it comes to food, is because we are very, very concerned about health issues that will come out of, and we've seen this, by the way, we've seen it, of food, people serving food at times, very unkempt. And so, I'll wait until after talk after. Oh, good. Now, as I'm sure all of you know by now, if you don't, maybe I'll tell you if you are a homeowner, and if you are renting as well, we've encouraged everybody in the city of New York to begin to compost. So there's topside composting now for the entire city of New York. 1 to 9 residential units are required to containerize and compost the food items, right? Food, paper stained items as well can be composted. I think some of you actually have the stuff on your thing already, which is good. So please, we need your support and we need your help as we go through this process. I think June of this year. Yeah. So from June of this year, everybody, every homeowner must definitely have a bin. NYC bin is required for everybody. So if you are a homeowner, you don't have one yet, please, we'll encourage you to order yours now. You can actually get it at Home Depot nowadays. It's kind of easy to do to buy from them directly. I think it's $51, $52, I believe it is. But plus tax. So give and take. So please do that. And here we go. Thank you. Yes. Any questions?
So I'm going to hold questions till after DOT because we're just going to take all questions at once. So we're going to go to DOT now, but just to recap, because I'm hearing that it was a little bit hard to hear in the back. So just to recap, some of those photos, these are that we presented, those are recurring areas that are chronic areas of illegal dumping, encampments, that we work with the truck that we fund and the relevant garages to constantly address. Those are like known locations that are checked regularly. Tonight, if there are other locations that are recurring problems, we want you definitely to write that down on your paper and let us know in addition to when you have your turn to speak. And just as a reminder, yes, you can buy the bins at Home Depot, and also everyone's going to be required to be separating their food waste out of their landfill waste, and you're always encouraged to recycle, please, as well. So we'll open it up for questions after DOT, which does not have slides, but we're going to give you a nice background. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention one thing. We do have Sanitation Foundation here, over here. They have a table as well. They've been really great. They organize, they help, they run trash academies, zero waste academies. They help people organize cleanups. So if you're interested in doing like a block cleanup in your neighborhood or in your corner, talk to Sanitation Foundation before you leave. They have a lot of little resources. Okay, now, sorry, I'm going to say the things that we did, and then I'll kick it over to you. I keep saying I'm going to kick it over. So a couple of things that we've advocated for, just some highlights. We advocated for some lighting under the Atlantic Avenue L train. It's a really dark, scary corner of our district. We tried to get some lighting in. I think as of now it is installed. That's right. We have submitted dozens and dozens of speed bump requests. We have received no speed bumps, but we've never gotten one approved, so just putting it out there. But we do, and also Broadway corridor. So I know many of you have been frustrated that the train tracks on the J and the M have been abated. They're being repainted. It is a pain, right? It's annoying, but when all of that comes down, you have a beautifully painted brand new track. The lead that's been crumbling off and having chips all over the sidewalk is gone. So we're really happy that that's an MTA project, but we're really happy that this happened. But we are also focused on advocating for investments on the Broadway corridor. So that piece of the strip of road between Eastern Parkway almost to decal that is just filled with all sorts of stuff going on. We're working on trying to get resources for that. And then for those of you who live over by Broadway Junction, there's going to be a couple public plazas that are going to be done and a bunch of streetscape improvement projects with millions and millions of dollars going into this. There's going to be some visioning sessions in spring 2026 of this year that you should be on the lookout for if you're interested in weighing in on what this finally looks like over at Broadway Junction. A couple other things, we partnered with DOT for some helmet giveaways this year. I think we still have 100 left that we're going to do later this year. And actually, I do want to shout out our congressional reps that share this district, Congresswoman Lydia Velazquez and Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. Each have secured just over $1 million towards resurfacing the Broadway corridor, that project that we've worked on, and we're also committing funding to it, so we hope that it would be a city priority this year. And then we also secured $2 million for enhanced lighting in the East New York Industrial Business Zone. It was an idea that came out of our Industrial Business Zone Monthly Task Force. It's actually an idea that came from Ms. Melinda Perkins from CB5. We were really grateful for that, and we were able to secure funding for that. Okay.
All right.
So now I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yes.
She's making me use it. So my name is Leroy Branch. I'm the Deputy Borough Commissioner of DOT Brooklyn. And I have with me Maria Cruz, who's actually the coordinator for CB4, so Bushwick area. I don't know if you know what DOT does, but very quickly and easily, anything above ground other than the buses and the trains, we're usually involved with. Okay, so that's traffic lights, streets, sidewalks, curbs, potholes, signals, speed humps, speed cameras, anything of that nature, anything above ground. Of course, we're not involved with trees because that's parks. But anything else above ground in terms of infrastructure, we do things. We have the bike lanes, the plazas, all those things fall under DOT. So I'm really here to hear what you have to say. Maybe there's some things that you've been trying to get. I heard that there's no speed humps in Councilman Nurse's district, which that's unbelievable to me, but it's probably the speed humps that she has been requesting. So since you brought that up, I'm going to say this about speed humps. Speed humps are installed based upon 30 miles an hour on a regular basis. So we come out and we survey and do a study on your block. A person actually comes out and stands there and a speed camera checks every car that comes down the block. And if the majority of them are going 30 miles an hour, you get a speed hump. Majority of the time, it's under 30 miles an hour. Now, to the human eye, 25 miles an hour is fast. I can understand that. But unfortunately for us to put a speed hump, then they have to be going 30 miles an hour. That's the mandate in order to get a speed hump. Now, a traffic light or a stop sign. So that's another one that everybody always wants a traffic light or a stop sign. So I'm going to say something just at the beginning. If we put a stop sign or a traffic light on every corner in the city of New York, that would do. But with that said, in order to get a stoplight or a traffic light, it has to meet 10 different warrants. And those warrants range from the speeds of cars, the amount of cars that are coming in all directions, the amount of time it takes you to cross the street, whether there's a school on the block, a hospital on the block, whether there's a fire department on the block, a park on the block, a library on the block. If it's just your homes on the block, in order to get a light on that corner, there has to be a number of cars and the time you take to cross the street. So if I'm standing at the corner, I need to cross the street, and I can cross the street, turn around, cross back again, turn around and cross back again. If no cars came by, then more than likely, you probably won't get a traffic light or a stop sign. All right? It's more technical than that. but I'd like to explain it from a perspective that you can understand. Secondly, the amount of crashes that happen at that particular intersection counts into whether you get a light or not. Now, I want to say this clearly. Most of the times when people see crashes, they don't get reported. So it's only reported crashes that because we don't know if they don't get reported. Okay? Secondly, is it driver error? In other words, is it the way the intersection is created, or was the driver just went through a red light or went through a stop sign or just for speeding or whatever the case may be? That depends. All right? So all of those factors go into putting a traffic or a stoplight at a corner. All right? So, and I can basically tell you when we study it why we didn't do, why we wasn't able to install it. You just have to ask. All right? Sidewalks is another one. If you're homeowners, that's one that everybody talks about. Sidewalks are the responsibility of the property owner. Okay? They still belong to the city, but the property owner is responsible for maintaining it. I didn't create the law, so don't blame me. Now, if there's a crack in the sidewalk, and I literally mean a crack, you have to replace the entire flag. Okay, because a lot of times when I go to homeowners, they say, no one's going to trip over that, that's just a little crack. Yes, you have to replace the entire flag. Now, what is a flag? The square. Okay? So you see squares on the front, so a flag would be the entire square. So if you have one little crack over here, you got to replace this whole flag. I didn't create the rule, that's just the way the law is written. Okay? Now, when you get a violation, it comes to your home as a notice of violation, which means you have 90 days to do something. Okay? You have 3 choices. 1, fix it on your own. 2, leave it alone and let the city fix it. Or 3, do nothing. If you do nothing, we're going to come and fix it eventually. Now, we only fix 1 to 3 family home. Anything larger than a 3-family home, DOT does not touch. We just give the property owner a violation, and it stays on that property until the end of time or until they fix it. Now, what does that mean if you have a violation? We put a lien on your property. And what that lien means is you can't sell or refinance your property until that crack or sidewalk is fixed. Now, there is a way to sell your property. What you would have to do is take the money that you would to fix the sidewalk and put it in escrow for the new owner. So you're going to wind up paying for it anyway. Right? To fix the sidewalk. So, well, I say this. Unless you know someone who does that professionally, and if you have a lot of sidewalk to fix, it's probably better for you to let the city do it because it's a little cheaper, number 1, because, you know, we get a contract. Number 2, you don't have to pay it all up front. You can pay it over time to the Department of Finance. When they give it to you, when they give you your tax bill for your property, they add it into it. But you call them up and say, listen, I want to be on a payment plan. Whereas if I was fixing the sidewalk and you asked me to fix it, I'm not giving you a payment plan. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to come to your house to give you some money. But with the city, they will put you on a payment plan. So if you have a large spot, I would suggest you wait. Okay? Now, I say that, but I'm going to give you this caveat. Of course, if I'm walking by and I trip on your sidewalk, I'm going to sue you. But I'm also going to sue the city. And who do you think has more money? That's all I'm gonna say about that. But they will put you in the lawsuit because it's your property. All right? Lights. A lot of people say it's dark at night. And the councilwoman was talking particularly about under the train station and everything. Just so everybody understands, DOT cannot put lights on MTA structure. Because MTA is a state agency. So we can't put lights under the train station. We can put poles, but we can't put lights. So anytime you're under a train station and the light is not on, there's probably lights under there, it's just not working. That's not DOT, that's MTA. Just want to clarify that. Now, if you're on your block and you say it's too dark on my block, we can do a light study because there's also a standard for how many lights should be on your block in terms of candles, in terms of wattage. I'll put it in those terms. We don't use the term wattage, but in terms of wattage, how many watts is supposed to be on your block? We can come out and do a study and let you know if we can add a light or not. A lot of times what happens is the trees bloom and they block the lights. There's nothing DOT can do about that. That's parks have some trim the trees, and basically that's all I can say about that. Now, if you have been approved for a light to go on your block on a specific intersection, it takes time because we do those lights out of contracts. We don't just do your light. We take your light, someone else's light, and a whole bunch of lights, and we put them in a contract. And then we give that contract to a contractor who will then go out and do the lights. Unfortunately, over the last couple of years, we've been backlogged with installing lights. So even if a light was approved, it's probably not installed yet. It's coming. It's just going to take some time to get there. Lastly, about lights, fixing a light on your block, that's out. Okay. Not necessarily. But let me explain the process so you understand it. When you call 311 to say the light in front of my house is out, it goes to DOT. DOT goes out and inspects the light. We have up to 30 days to do that. Okay? We go out and inspect the light. And for lack of a better word, if it's just a light bulb, we change it. And it goes right back on. Because of the infrastructure of New York City, for those of you who've lived here for a long time, our infrastructure is in dire need of upgrading. Most of the time, it's not the light bulb, it's either the pole or the electricity or the base. You know the wide part at the bottom that needs to be changed, or the whole pole needs to be changed. Now, remember I said 30 days for us to go out and check. If it's the pole or the base or anything other than the light bulb, we have to then give it to Con Ed. It goes in Con Ed's queue. They have 90 days to go out and inspect the pole, and if it's their issue, they fix it. If it's not their issue, then they have to turn off the electricity to the pole. It comes back to DOT and gets in the queue, and we have 90 days to go out and remove the pole or the base or whatever needs to be removed, order another one, right? Wait for it to come in, we install it, it goes back to Con Ed, and they have 90 days to electrify it. Then it comes back to us to turn the light on. That's the process. So that's why it takes a long time sometimes for a light to be turned back on. The other reason why it takes a long time is because it got lost in the system somewhere. I'll be the first one to tell you that happens. It happens. It happens. Between 311, us, Con Ed, it might have just got lost. My suggestion to you is Now that you see us, if you have a light that has been out for a long time, please let us know, and then we can find out what's happening with it and where it is in the process. So I think I spoke a lot. So I'll give it back to the councilwoman. I want to just say this though. I have to say, you have one of the better council persons in the city of New York. She is, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that because I want to get points for her. I really don't, because I have to do what she says anyway. The point I'm trying to make is this. She is very passionate about what she does and who she represents. And she keeps, I know DOT, and I can only imagine all the other city agencies on our toes. Because I tell you, as you all know that phrase, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And she does not let us sit back on our laurels and not do anything. And when I say to her, that can't be done, the next question out of her mouth is why? And I may say, well, that's the way it's always been. Well, it's a new day. We got to make things happen. I'll give you a perfect example. We're talking about Broadway. For those of you who've lived in this neighborhood for years, Broadway has been that way since I was a kid. Right? Oh, can I speak on Broadway for 1 second? The reason why Broadway has not been resurfaced is because Broadway is concrete. We cannot resurface concrete. Concrete has to be taken up and more concrete put down. That has to be a capital project. When we resurface in-house. We do it with DOT staff. But to remove concrete and redo concrete, that's a contract that's, I don't know if the councilwoman has ever explained to you what procurement means. But it takes 5 to 7 years to procure the money for a capital project. Broadway is so long that we can't even do it at one time. We have to do it in stages. And each one of those stages could cost an upwards of $70 million just for one small area. Okay? Now think about Broadway, and when I say a small area, maybe 10 to 20 blocks. All right? That's how much it costs. Okay? So when you think about that, it's going to take a lot of resources and a lot of money to do all of Broadway. But she's fighting for her area to get done first. I know she is.
Because I got the money.
We just talked about you this morning about that. Right, she's the first, I'm telling you, she's the first elected official to actually get the money. I know a lot of people can say we're going to try to get the money. But she's the first one to actually say, here's some money. Okay? And you know when you hand somebody some money, it says a lot. Right?
Wait, we're going to take questions.
That's it for you.
Okay, so thank you, Leroy, for explaining why stuff takes forever to get done here in the city. Very educational. Can we give a round of applause for Leroy and for Sanitation? So yes, and I want to give credit where credit's due. We got money to start Broadway corridor. Well, not even to start. We're cobbling together a pot of money from many jurisdiction levels. Like I said, our 2 Congress people each gave $1.8 million, and we're talking about $100 million project. Well, as of 2 years ago, it was $100 million, so who knows what it costs now. We need $15 million just to scope out and plan what the project looks like. So,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
We are doing some safety projects on behalf of the councilwoman throughout the corridor, because as you know, a lot of the streets are not a 90-degree angle. They're at different angles. So we're going to be doing some, and that's going to be in-house. So that has nothing to do with the money in terms of the capital project of the service. And the other location, I should have mentioned it, is the conduit. Very soon, you will hear a briefing on the redesign of the conduit.
Okay, forthcoming. We're on the edge of our seats for that. So, we're going to start opening it up for questions. but this was just a little bit to explain what we've been doing, areas we've been focusing on, the resources that we put on top of what the agencies are already supposed to be doing to the area. So we know that everyone has questions. Don has been collecting some. What we're going to do is he's going to say your name, and then you can stand up and give your questions. You can ask it yourself. If you want him to read it out loud, you can just tell him to do it. But we're asking for folks to be brief and to the point, because there's a lot of people here. Unfortunately, we cannot do a 10 to 15 minute story about the entire context of your question. We just can't. It's too hot in here and there's too many people. So we need to be to the point. What is the problem specifically you're trying to solve for? And make sure you write it down on the paper and leave it with us, because as Leroy mentioned, all of the ways it could get lost when you put it in the city system, we are your backstop. If we don't know about it sometimes, we can't help you escalate it in the agencies, okay? All right, so, Don, you got some papers? Okay. Yeah, so just stand up and give your questions.
Okay, so my name is Priscilla, and I live right around the corner from Broadway Junction, across from Callahan Kelly Park. So one of the issues we've been having is that the tree pits are not clean. They're full of garbage. I make myself responsible for cleaning the tree pit right in front of my house. It brings rats, especially now that they're doing construction at the train station with the elevators and all that. So that's been an issue. Also, the Knights Towing Company that's on Broadway and Eastern Parkway, they have 2 tow trucks on the street, plus a flatbed. And so that accumulates garbage. People start dumping garbage on the vehicles, and it becomes a little dumping ground until it gets cleaned. Truxton Street between Conway and Sackman. The Knights Towing Company, they have a towing thing, a company there, and have a lot and everything, so I don't understand why they can't get their vehicles in the lot. And so since there's limited parking, the MTA people park on the sidewalk down the block. So that's an issue. There's also, I'm sorry?
The tree pits. The issue with the...
Yeah, they're full of garbage. On Truxton Street. Between, yes, between Conway and Sackman. Okay, and I think that's basically it. Also, I don't know if anything can be done about the park in the summer. We have, I don't know if you're allowed to barbecue in that park, but we have people barbecuing, all kinds of crowds of people. The barbecue smoke is going in our apartments. People play music late at night. Yeah, but I want to do something about
So
that.
give us that paper if you all want to speak at all on,
if you all want to speak at all on big trucks, tree pits, dumping, all the doors are forward there about the property use and the company that you all mentioned. So those are the 3 topics that
As far as the tree pits go, maintaining tree pits is a responsibility of the property owner or the business owner in that area. We can issue summonses. In some instances, we can and we do clean tree pits. Absolutely. I will definitely have that area checked out. I know that we regularly have crews. That's Community Board 16 in Truxton. We regularly have crews on Truxton working, but as far as the maintenance of them, they ultimately fall on the property owner. As far as the towing, the night selling issue on Broadway and Eastern, I will definitely look into that.
Well, their trucks are on Truxton Street, but their office is on Eastern Parkway and Broadway.
Yeah, we'll definitely follow up. It's
If you go down Truxton Street around the corner from the train station, you're gonna see it.
Vehicles
You
without
can't miss
plates, or commercial vehicles are not allowed to park on the
We're
street.
it. They've been there for months.
We're gonna move forward, we actually have that on our radar in the office, and we'll take care of that. Can I get a quick hand up, who may want to speak, ask a question? All right, so we'll come around, it'll probably take about 10 to 10 more time.
Yeah, that's why I said keep it
Yeah,
brief.
please keep
and
it short,
you note
and
it
we
down
will
on the way to
follow up.
contact you.
We will follow up, trust me.
I'm gonna give you all the answer. The question that I have is, why can't you call 311 during alternate side of street parking times? Because that's really the only thing we have to be able to do anything and make complaints and do it. When you guys respond or the police responds, their response is, we don't see anything. Because it's after the street cleaner, if the street cleaner comes, as they should, the cars are already crossing. So they took away our ability to make the complaints.
Okay, so, number one, when we make a complaint about alternate side parking, the way we handle it is very simple. We go there, during the next alternate side parking, we see the condition of the sidewalk, the curb line, the parking lane, we issue summonses, and we report back as such. We check that the signs are correct. So as far as when you can make that complaint, if you complain during the segment, that's not really a department sanitation issue. That's not us. That's where we review the complaint and investigate them. As far as actually being able to place the complaint, we don't have. We're not sure that somebody won't move during the segment. So if it's an 11:30 to 1 segment, and you call and say nobody is moving for alternate side at 11:30, and then 5 minutes later everybody moves, so it would have to be after the segment that you call. So that am I not following the?
No, I understand everything you're saying. It just renders everything ineffective. You have to understand.
It sounds like 311 doesn't allow you to place the complaint
cannot.
during
And
the
then when
time.
they find out, and they
So
always
that is a 311 issue, and we should work on policy around that to change that. Because that should be the thing. Additionally, there is a website that you can follow, that was one of those that we passed, it's called Sweet NYC. It has a live tracker, so you can track whether or not the broom came down your street or not.
I can see that.
I'm just saying, for anybody who's aware, not just you, for other people to know, you can look it up and see if your car, the last time a broom went on the street. Hold on, so,
Hold on,
John's working on.
Keep it under 1 minute, please.
Hi, to piggyback on what she just said about the alternate parking, I have made a complaint, and I called directly to sanitation. And last Monday, I had the sanitation supervisors come out, and they observed, I don't know what they were doing, but I saw them. And then, as of this morning, I saw the sanitation car come, sit there, and just sit there, and I'm sitting there watching him, because he's right outside my house, and he's just sitting there. He did not get out, he did not issue a ticket. Now, I don't understand why they won't issue a ticket. There's only a certain people on my block, the same people know that nothing is gonna be done, so they stay there. And nothing is done. We do get our trucks on, they come at 9:30 faithfully for alternate parking. They are doing what they're supposed to do, but they're not being allowed to do the job. They have to go around the cars, and then the supervisor come down the block and either sit there or go straight down the block.
Hi. So, ma'am, so I'm going to do something that I normally do when such things happen, which is this. You're going to tell me exactly the block where this is happening. After this, let us know. I'm going to have the chief have some folks take a look. Not only take a look, be very actively engaged. Okay? I'd like to know where it is, but let's talk afterwards so we can be specific as to where this is happening. If our person is out there and is not doing what he is supposed to do, then I have to know, and the chief got to know as well.
What is the chief's name?
This is David Diorio, but I think it's better to go to the councilman's office, whatever it is you want to send to us, please go through our office. We'll get that information. the council member's office, your member. That way we can move very quickly, okay?
Okay, so let's keep moving down the line, but it's noted about the alternate side parking for anybody else who have that issue. You could write down on your thing the block that you're having a problem where people aren't moving or where they're not doing ticketed enforcement, and we'll send that over to the next one. Whoever's there.
And so real quick, I'm gonna also be handing out these intake forms. So if you have a real problem that you want to be followed up, please put most of the details here and just keep your statement brief.
I have two questions. One has to do with those sweepers. During the fall, when all those leaves are falling, they don't pick up the leaves. I would religiously pick up my leaves, but then it's still falling, and then sanitation comes by and gives me a ticket. And that's not fair. The sweeper doesn't sweep it up. I sweep it up and more leaves come down, and then it gives me a ticket.
So, one thing I'll say is, first of all, is, you cannot get a summons for leaves. You cannot get a summons for leaves on your sidewalk. You cannot get a summons for leaves along your curb line. What you can get a summons for is litter. That's a different story. As far as the leaves go, it's not a perfect science. We come down the block during leaf season, we don't get all the leaves. Not on one pass, not on two passes, not this week, not next week, but we do get a lot of it. I know because I know what the brooms dump when they fill, and how many trips to go dump the broom has to make, especially during leaf season. So we are absolutely picking up quite a lot, even though you may see we don't get everything. The way the machine is built, it cannot pick up all the leaves. It needs multiple passes to do so. So that's an ongoing thing during leaf season, but eventually we do get to the point where we've gotten it all. And the leaves keep falling, and we understand that. But it isn't a perfect science for picking up the leaves with the mechanical broom. We get a lot, but we don't get it all. So we need more than 1 week, 1 2 weeks, something. But if you don't get a summons for leaves, it will be for litter.
All right, next up.
Hi, my name is Deborah Williams, and I'm from CB16, and I want to ask DOT. Okay, you were talking about Broadway concrete capital project. Could you tell me from what part that Ms. Nurse has gotten her money for that?
Well, oh, sure.
So the money, it's not my money, it's our money.
Well, yeah.
Just remember this, for everybody to know this is our money that we're asking to pay to fix our roads, okay? But so just like 3.6 million was what the federal representatives gave. Now 3.6 million just out of what, 12, 15 million to get the project scoped out. So we have a drop in the bucket. And this cycle, we're adding more from the city level, and we're hoping our state partners can come through with some more.
Right.
And that will run from, I believe, from Eastern Parkway all the way down to,
The whole portion of Broadway. It will be the whole portion of Broadway, but we can't do the whole portion of Broadway at one time.
I
We have to
understand
do
that.
it at second.
Right, but the portion that you have the funding.
We don't have funding
Well,
for any of it.
the money that's you're looking for.
Right.
What portion?
The whole thing. We're looking for money for the whole
The whole
thing.
thing, okay.
but they're gonna phase it up, they're gonna put it in phases,
We're gonna do it in
right?
phases.
Right.
And so we're trying to do the east side,
Okay, see, that's what I want to know.
Yes.
What phase, I know you got to do it in phases, so what,
so from Broadway Junction west, right?
Determined yet.
Right, but we're gonna fight like hell to make sure it does start from there. Since I'm the one out here begging for money, so,
More than likely, yes.
yes, more than likely.
And
You
another
heard it here
thing,
first.
Broadway Junction is coming along very well, right? But I went up there, I don't know, the pigeons. Everybody is, the MTA is painting and all that, but those pigeons are crazy up there. So I just wanted to know what could, what is TA or whoever is doing, for the pigeon droppings.
That's an MTA thing, but we can try to flag it with them.
Yeah.
To see if they can put the,
Because when you waiting,
post.
because when you waiting for that train, the pigeons is, dropping. Okay, that's it, thank you.
Hi, this question is about the Myrtle Lighthouse Plaza and the Lighthouse project. My question is, when is this project, the Myrtle Lighthouse renovation project, going to start? When it will be closed for pedestrian use? When will Project Lighthouse project start right across Lighthouse? What other projects do you have planned for this area? And then in addition, as the last thing, I'm curious, where is the food exactly donated and taken to the vendors? Given the fact that it's unhealthy, but I also want to know where it's being taken to. So my main interest is the project, but then additionally, where is the food going to? And is there a place to check this out online?
I hope I understand what you're saying, because I couldn't really hear you that well. I don't have a date for the White Golf reconstruction. I can try to find that out for you, and I'll let the council person know. Now, you said something about the plaza. I'm trying to figure out.
There's a Myrtle Lighthouse Plaza renovation also planned, but the plaza itself.
On the plaza itself.
Yes.
We still are trying to get a partner for the plaza. Unfortunately, we have not been successful in finding someone who we could partner with.
That's for the management. She's talking about you only going to raise the street. So I know because we just redone it. Yeah, when it's going to come, you guys are going to redo White Golf Avenue.
When we do White Golf, the reconstruction of White Golf, we're going to build out the plaza itself. So it won't be a street, it's going to be at the same level as the side.
Is that projected for this year, or is it going to be pushed?
I'm not 100% sure. Let me explain this. With the old administration, a lot of things got put on hold. So now with the new administration, with our new mayor, he's trying to put forth a lot of the things that were put on hold before. So we have to see where it fits in to the capital project. Now, I don't know if you understand this, but the funding season starts in July. So when you say this year, for me that's 2026, which means it ends June 30th. So it may be in the next fiscal year, not this fiscal year, but in the same calendar year, if you understand. So when you say this year, you're talking calendar year. So it could be in fiscal 26 or fiscal 27. From all indications, I don't see it happening in fiscal 26. But it's a possibility in fiscal 27.
So maybe in the second half of the year.
Right.
Yes. In simple terms. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I know community board has been briefed on what the project will be, but they're essentially redoing White Golf Avenue. I believe there will be some some stuff done around the bus stops. Even some of the sidewalks will be repaired. And then additionally, the plaza, right now it has a street running through it, because it's a closed street, but they're going to raise it, that part, so you can't drive through it. But that might start in the second half of this calendar year.
And before we do it, we will definitely brief the councilwoman and we can come back to the community to let you know exactly what's happening. Okay?
Additionally, just one other thing about Myrtle White Golf, like I said, we do have a interagency monthly task force where we're constantly, we have folks who deal with homelessness, folks who deal with substance use. The agencies are there, and we're trying to do what we can with that area while we wait for the project to be done.
I think she asked a question about where the food.
Hello. So about the food that we take from vendors that are vending illegally, as an example, we compost those items. When it's food items,
You said you donate 17,000 pounds.
depending on the kind of food. When you talk about food, I'm thinking of cooked food as opposed to fruits and vegetables that is food that is been cooked, we do not donate those, we compost those. Fruits, vegetables that are still, of course, it's donated, yes.
So why do you take it? Is it a health issue? Because you made it seem like it was a health issue, but now you're saying it's donated.
No. Oh, no, don't miss, I'm sorry. You are missing two things up here, man. There are two things you are saying. There's food that is cooked. Those are not donated, right? Now, for the vegetables and fruits that we take from vendors that are vended illegally is donated to food pantries in the neighborhood, right? That's not what we do. That's our practice. And if you just put in the number, that number is actually accurate. I see an old friend. I just have someone. Mr.J, nice to see you.
Okay, John.
Hi there, my name is Chris Donahoe, and I live on Covert Street in Bushwick. And my question is, it changed as I heard everyone talking. It's clear to me that everybody in this room could probably point to multiple sites where there's a problem with trash or dumping. And also, you all have very hard jobs, so thank you for your service. When you were talking, I really got a clear picture that it's the system or the process itself is super broken. So if we report things, it gets missed, it doesn't get handled, it's someone else's job, it's a different agency. On our block, we live through this nightmare all year round with trash not picked up, construction, dumping. So my question is, whose responsibility is it to actually look at the process and fix the broken process? And can we count on you all to work with those people to actually do that so that these issues get solved?
So, as far as the 311 system, we are very responsive. We're on top of any 311 complaints for missed trash pickup or illegal dumping or any sort of condition that could be on the block. We look at it also from a different level, looking at statistics and trends and what areas have we get more complaints than other areas where are quote-unquote hotspot locations. We can look up what the alternate side parking activity is on a block. So we do use the 311 complaints as information as well as responding to your specific complaint. The department is always looking to relook at things and improve, improving the process every day.
So just to note, there's about 300 or 400 people who work at 311 at the center. So they are, those 300-400 people are dealing with all of the complaints that come in. In terms of system fixes, the council and the administration are responsible for that. The council has passed a number of bills on 311, where, for example, sometimes we pass laws to add new things that you can complain about, that there's an icon versus having to move around. 311 is not perfect. For example, if you want to report a pothole or a street light out, the 311 system takes you to the DOT system. That really doesn't make any sense. It all should be integrated into one. So all to say is that there are a number of bills in the council related to 311. Not all of them get taken up and passed, but it is the responsibility, just to answer your question directly, of the council and both the agencies who are constantly, every year they have to publish the PMMR, which is basically a data report where it says, like, each agency has all the different metrics that they are evaluated on. And you can see that data year over year. So it's both.
All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the queue, and that introduce last, correct?
I live up the Euclid Avenue Atrium stop. That corner has a taxi stand, 4 different bus stops, a train station as well. And we have a rampant problem with our street staff and littering. It fills the street pits. There's been uneven enforcement for about the past 8 months with the alternate side where we weren't getting ticketed, no one was moving, and the trash has been going into the street. market on that corner. That's a vacant lot that started, and there's just trash flowing out from it. People will move things through there, and then it goes to the street. I put in complaints trying to get more trash cans on the street so people who are passing by have a place to put their cans. And it's been told it's not meeting the requirements of the trash can in any way. What is the requirements for getting more kind of enforcement in that area and also more receptacles for trash?
Hi. So, you said under the train tracks, right? There's like everything going on under the tracks. Is that it?
It's an underground station.
You guys, at the train station itself, outside?
Yeah.
The air station? Okay. I know that station, up front. So, there are a lot of issues there from what you just described. Let me say this to you, what I think I want to do, because this is kind of new to me, so I want to be careful to answer this question. I would want, I'm going to talk to the chief in a minute, to have someone take a look, what's really going on out there, and report back, and then we're going to put a plan of action into place. If there are areas where we have two different agencies that need to work in, so be it. But for now, since it's kind of coming from you to us, we're going to do our best to follow up. And now for the trash can itself, yes, there are times when we will let you know that this area does not meet that requirement. Based on what we've seen, as an example, again, like I said, this is new to me, so I can actually ask the question here, the history of that location, right? And see all the causes coming regarding having the trash can in that particular area. If there's a need to do so, why not? All right, so just allow us that, give us the information, and then we will get back to the member and to let you know what it is that we're doing.
Any requests for trash cans, I'm not taking my lead. We look at the area, we look at the amount of pedestrian traffic, we look at the nature of the businesses there and what type of litter or garbage material or the businesses in that area would tend to generate. And we base our decision on that, the overall cleanliness of the area. And also from experience, sometimes unfortunately adding a litter basket may create a problem instead of solving it, or may exacerbate a problem because it invites illegal dumping to that corner, to that basket as well. So we take all those things into consideration, but I assure you, and the location, I'll take that location down and we'll look into that. There may be enforcement at the location, and we'll look into that.
All right, and just real quick, on your blue card, please write your name. If you want us to follow up with you, please write your name when the blue question is. Thank you.
And the way to contact you.
So I think my question is directed to DOT. Just in terms of the Jackie Robinson between exits 3 and 7, eastbound and westbound, there's so many non-operating lights. As we all know, Jackie Robinson is exceptionally a hazardous parkway. And to see you, just a brief idea of how dangerous it is, I promised myself the last time I rained really hard, I was on the Jackie Robinson, I could not see the actual lines on the road, and I promised myself that I would never ride the Jackie Robinson when it was raining, because it's just that dangerous. So I called 311 multiple times, they keep telling me that someone called it in, they won't accept my complaint, and it's been way over a year with no resolution, and it's just extremely, extremely dangerous.
Unfortunately, all parkways are under state, not city. I'm sorry, but all parkways are under the state jurisdiction, not city jurisdiction. But there is one thing that you said that we do work with. You said there's no lights on the Jackie Robinson?
The lights are there, they're not operational, the lights are out.
So if you give me the location, we do take
Exit 3 to 7. I counted over 35 last time.
I'll second that. All those.
we'll take care of the lights, but the actual parkway is state.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a business owner in Lower Bushwick, and I also run like a small community organization for the Wilson general area, Lower Bushwick, between community members and businesses. So I talked to a lot of people about different things going on, watched a lot of things. I have two things, just briefly. One, there is, I was wondering if schools are also enforced, if it's also being enforced with schools and larger, government-run buildings, to have the trash buckets, or like the trash cans, because there's a school, I don't want to call it the good work of schools, but there's a school on Knickerbocker by my business, between Cooper and Moffett, that does not use trash cans. The homework's always blown all over the place. It's been years like this, but the trash is absolutely insane. It's infested with rats. It's 24/7, 7 days a year. What's that?
384?
Maybe.
I mean, it's not the problem with school, it's the problem of the institution, not providing, whatever.
It's
So not
Knickerbocker.
putting anybody in trouble.
I just know it's on Knickerbocker. I wrote it down, but it's on Knickerbocker between Moffett and Cooper, and it's by the yard, and like everybody dumps there because the school also just dumps there, I guess. Because there's a lot of school stuff, so I noticed that. So I was wondering if that is enforced. And then I had another question about for the Department of Transportation. If it's okay to just launch right into that. There's an issue with trucks turning onto Knickerbocker from Cooper Avenue. Whenever big rigs turn, they're like scraping the sides of vehicles, or they can't make it, and so they're like blocking traffic for 2-3 hours. I personally have gone out of my store and directed traffic multiple times to just like try to help these trucks through, and sometimes they just scrape off sides of cars. I don't know, if that requires reporting or what, but some sort of sign. I don't know how that works, but I was wondering if there's a way to put up signage like trucks can't turn, if that can be communicated with Google and Apple Maps, because they're directed to turn and then they can't do it.
So you're talking about the intersection right at the corner of Cooper onto Knickerbocker?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a question in there for someone.
I'll take the school question. Yes, absolutely. Schools are required to containerize. They use what we call tilt bins, so they're a little more designed for the amount of garbage that they put out. So yes, schools, special use buildings, everybody is supposed to be containerized. And we will look into that school. Was that a city-run school? Was that a city school, public school?
Yes.
Public school? Okay, I'll have that investigated. Absolutely.
In terms of trucks, unfortunately, and I'm not passing the buck, unfortunately DOT does not enforce truck traffic. That's the NYPD. They're probably not supposed to be on that street anyway, because they're supposed to stay on their truck route, but a lot of times they don't. But unfortunately, there's really nothing we can do in terms of enforcement, because we do not enforce truck traffic. That's the NYPD. Everyone keeps asking us to put up signs that says no truck traffic. They're not supposed to be there. So I can put a sign up on every block, but they're still going to be there. So it's really, we need to get enforcement at that particular location. The other thing I want to say is this. The young lady behind you, give a location again. And what we can do is see if there's something we can do engineering-wise to help with the situation. Maybe daylight the corner where there's no parking at the corner, so they can't. So we can do that. But in terms of the trucks making the turn, that's an NYPD issue. The young lady right behind you.
So what we'll do is we will flag that to the 83rd and then flag it up the chain about that particular turn, and then also note this to DOT if daylighting is needed. And we will also follow up about the school.
My name is Mike, and I'm concerned with the garbage at the Memorial White Station. It's filthy every day. It's filthy right now. After this meeting, come walk it on site. You can smell it. It's filthy. So my particular concern is on the Gates Avenue side, there's a broken sidewalk, and DOT has put some barriers around it that have been there for like years. It would help if you fix the sidewalk, but in the meantime, it's just turned into a landfill. It's just garbage, garbage, garbage. DOT blames sanitation for it, sanitation blames DOT for it. So it doesn't get picked up. before I tell you what success I've had, I want to ask you guys if any of these pictures is acceptable to you and should be clean.
He's on the street.
We have absolutely cleaned this location multiple times. But it is this issue right here of the barriers attracts.
But it's the equipment of DOT. Is it their responsibility to maintain their equipment, or is it the sanitation's job?
That's DOT's equipment?
Transportation.
Not just because it's sensitive, but people use our stuff, and it may not be us.
Question is,
Yeah.
are they doing a maintenance, are they doing the tracks?
No, they're doing everything now. But I mean,
That's
this
what I'm
is,
saying, because they've been using those particular barriers all along the corridors where they're doing that, and if they've finished painting, those should no longer be there. But I'm
this
just
is
curious.
about the sidewalk. This is about the working sidewalk. And I've reached out to DOT and they sent me, links to permits about the sidewalks that have expired. Like, they don't deny that it's theirs. They're just blaming the sanitation. But either way,
If this is DOT, and we're finished doing what we're doing, I can take care of that right away.
Once that is done,
I'll take care of that right away.
once that is done, right, this issue should go away.
so in the meantime, while it's just collecting, who should be cleaning this on a regular basis?
Hold on a second. If it's a DOT job, then we should be keeping it clean, okay? But if we're finished, and we just didn't pick up those orange things, then I'll get that taken care of right away. And then we can get it cleaned up right away.
Well, it's not that.
So let's prioritize
You
this.
never spoken to me, and I'm promising you, if the job is finished, and those are ours, I will make sure they're moved.
So tomorrow, we're gonna follow up with them, those should be gone, but if they're not moved, garage door will clean that, right? Okay. And we'll make sure that they're staying on it, because that's the south side, or that's the gate side?
What's the exact
The gate side? That's the other side of the MTA station. Okay, so we're gonna keep going.
I'm not a planner, so I'm not the one who plans it. But I will say that we did go to, when we put in bike lanes, we do go to the community board, and we feel like the community board's responsibility to let the community know what's going on. So in terms of notification, the community board will notify you about that bike lane. Why they put it there, I'm not a planner, so I don't know why. I do know that generally when they put in bike lanes, it's because people are using that road or that street to ride their bikes down. And we need to have alternate modes of transportation in the city of New York. We have always been a car-centric city. We have to change that around because people use other modes of transportation other than cars. I drive, so I understand what you're saying, but we have to make way for bikes, for scooters, for all types of modes of transportation. So specifically why that street, all I can say is that maybe if there are people who use that street, it might be the quickest access to another bike lane. We have to, when we put it on major roads, we didn't have to make cross bike lanes. And your block might have been the block that was chosen.
But then it would be people on my block. Okay, so we only have a running white block around the corner. And the boys, it's proven, they don't avoid it. So I don't know if the city of New York
I understand that, but if it wasn't your block, it was the block over, then they would say the same thing you're saying. No, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I don't want to make light of it. But we do have to do it, and it has to be on somebody's block. So,
Cooper is one side, you know, one side parking and across there, and that was because majority of one side was because.
and then they took the other side of the parking away.
No, the parking will remain on one side, just the way it was always been.
So, you just don't want to go to the block.
If you have old garbage bins that you got from the that happening, because they seem to be smaller than new ones that you want to buy. Because my neighbors bought one to buy, and already we have a hole in it, and I had mine for years, and it's still good. So why do I have to spend a homeowner, see things and have money that for garbage that was not 30 is the ones that I have. But I understand you truck is supposed to be where they can dump it, but we know those trucks are not coming in. So they're not going to be able to put out that arm and dump that because you have cars. And sanitation don't come in every other day at the same time. So there will always be cars parked. So my question is, why do we have to buy a new pair?
So, let me see Thank you, man, for your question. So, the big mandate that we have been talking about for the past year and a half to 2 years now requires everybody to now use things because of drug mitigation to help with rats to 3.2. You mentioned the Rat Academy and the aim that I think you still have that from what you said there. I'm not so sure that you really need to change that because you do have the aim. However, the new rule requires everybody to have this meeting because based on our own research and investigation, we believe this is the best bump, the best we can actually offer the city, given the price that we quoted. The concern that you raised, whether is very strong, whether that's strong. The equipment that comes, if you're looking at the equipment that trucks will be fitted with, can indeed pick up the new trash bin that we're asking people to buy. That is why we're asking you guys to use that, right? Now, can things change tomorrow? Yes, but for now, this is where we are as a policy, right? And we do believe, by the way, there's something which I needed to talk about. You mentioned you are a citizen and you're retired. I believe the previous administration has a program in place, and I think it's still in place, I don't think it's changed yet, whereby folks can indeed get some sort of a tax rebate or rebate on getting, yeah. So that's something that I think you can probably still get, because we understand we're not trying to make people's life difficult, okay?
And just to clarify, at some point, all of the trucks will be retrofitted.
Yes,
and you'll get new ones that will work with those bills. So it's not only for certain areas, it's a slow rollout.
It's, I believe, the district already has at least one, the tipper on the back of the truck. It's not built to remove the can from the sidewalk. It's built so that you would have to move the can behind the truck, and then the mechanism will lift from behind the truck. So the cars moving in the way, it's not, that's irregardless of that, they'll start to move the bin to the back of the truck. It does not take the bin like you see sometimes in the suburbs and do it like that. No, you have to bring the truck. Plus, you have two men in there, and they took the bed themselves as well. So,
I think there's different types of, different ticket trucks or different parts of the different parts of the neighborhoods. We're going to have bigger streets where that side stuff can happen. But remember, the whole city is containerizing. And the reason we did that is because it's disgusting when all of those bags of trash are out on the street and the rats are eating through it. So it is a painful process. I don't really love how the bin mandate rolled out. I wasn't a huge fan on it, sorry to say it, as we were not either, but it is what we're moving towards in order to make sure that all the trucks can work with these bins. And also remember, these guys and ladies who work on these truck rigs, you know, they're lifting all of our stuff and literally grinding their bodies down over time. So this is meant to also alleviate from a worker perspective. But we understand the challenges. So again, there's the senior, the over adult discount or rebate or something like that. We'll send some stuff out and make sure we get it to you. So we're going to move to the next question.
Hi, I have a question about Cooper Street. Cooper Street doesn't have stop signs, or sorry, not Cooper. Central doesn't have stop signs, but a lot of the streets that it crosses. And I think because of that, cars move pretty quickly down Central. And there are also times where I'm in the bike lane and I get like cut off by cars. They're moving really fast and they're not paying for permission. So and then the other, I have two questions, sorry. The other one is like, who handles the drainage issues on Evergreen and Albert Street? It floods, and that's because of the way it's designed. The water pools in part of the street that's not in a drainage.
Now this is a combination. I'm not trying to pass the buck. Ponding is either DEP or DOT. If it's because of the catch basins, or there's not enough catch basins, that's DEP. If it's because of the roadway, it's not paved right, that's DOT. Now, some of the sidewalks are not to standard. So if we pave according to 2026 standards, and the sidewalk doesn't meet up with that, we have to then go out and violate every homeowner on that block so they can fix their sidewalks to standard. I'm just telling you
but it's
what.
not the sidewalk, it's the street. Like
No, understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When we pave, there has to be a certain amount of reveal from the sidewalk to make that water pitch to go to the catch basin if there is a catch basin. Sometimes, not all the time, the sidewalks there's not enough reveal. So when we go out to pave, we then are going to go out and violate everybody on that block. I want to be clear with everybody because I don't want anybody to come and say, we want you to fix the street and you cannot violate it all. You get a violation because you have to build your sidewalk to today's standards. No.
Because the property owner is responsible for the sidewalk.
So, what I can do for you, if I get specific locations where it's ponded, I will have it inspected, and they will tell me the reason why it's ponded and who should be fixing it.
We will also flag it to DEP so that both of you know to go there.
It will go to us first anyway.
Okay, well, we'll just we like to bother people.
That's the other thing when it comes to fixing the streets. Everybody knows the difference between a pothole, a sinkhole, and a cave. If it's a pothole, which means you look down, it's not a hole, you can't see all the way down, that's a pothole. That means the top soil, the top part of it is worn away. DOT will come out and fix that. If you see straight through and there's a big hole there, it comes to DOT first. We look at it, we see the hole, we send it to DEP. Now DEP is responsible for fixing it. You call me back and said it's not fixed. It's not our responsibility anymore. It's in the hands of DEP. I just want you to be clear. I want everybody to understand how the system works.
One second. So, are you finished with your the central? There was the stop signs on central.
We can take a look at the different locations and study them and see if they want a stop sign.
Yeah, everybody just measure how fast cars are going down the street because there are some streets that don't have a stop sign, so they're just blowing through and then they're not paying attention to the light versus bike lane.
The extra stop sign or a light. There was an intersection, maybe, not Cornelia, second corner, maybe put down by a church. And we got extra lighting over there because it was consistent crashes, so we were able to do that, but we can, if there are certain intersections, I think like from where to where it's helpful for us to direct them. Okay, so we're coming, just quickly, we're coming on time. If you've already asked a question, we're prioritizing people who haven't. And just remember that please leave us a way to contact you with the issue so we can follow up with all of these things. Okay. Wait, there were some people who didn't, yeah? Okay, I thought she did, but, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My question is for sanitation. What days and time do you teach?
First of all, it depends on the ticket. It depends on the violation. As far as dirty sidewalk, dirty curb line, right? If you're a resident, it's between 8 and 8:59 a.m. and 6 and 6:59 p.m. As far as business owners go, that would be a commercial routing time. So what I just gave you was the residential routing time. You cannot receive a summons for your sidewalk being dirty, or as we say, an 18-inch violation, if it's not observed and written in between those 2 hours. As far as businesses go, that's a commercial routing time, and that depends on the section. Different areas of the city have different commercial routing times. But as far as getting a summons for the way you put your garbage out, that can be written anytime. So that's why I say it depends on the nature of the summons. So, and just to be clear, obviously we know the sidewalk is the responsibility of the property owner, but the property owner is also responsible to clean the first 18 inches into the street. Okay, and our cleaning, as far as our manpower, our mechanical brooms, is only supplemental to the property owner's cleaning. That just be clear on that.
So, if you saw my garbage can put out there on a Sunday morning, 2 a.m., you can give me a ticket.
Yes. If your garbage can is out on the sidewalk at 2 a.m. on a Sunday, yeah, because it would be out too early. That's right. So the route, and that falls outside of the realm of routing on summonses. That can be written anytime.
Just a reminder, keep it brief, because we gotta let these folks go, or else they'll never come back. Go ahead.
My question is for DOT. I have a safety concern for Logan Street and Atlantic Avenue.
Atlantic and where?
And Logan Street, yes. There are 2 schools on each side, one on one side of Atlantic and the other one on the other side of Atlantic. There's a safety concern there, and there's construction, and that area needs to be studied to become with a better approach.
Okay, so this is what I would do for you. We have a school safety team that will go out and survey the whole area to put in the slow zone, speed humps, and all those types of things at schools. And if you've been listening to the news, we are now going to be putting slow zone at every school in the city of New York by 2030. I think I got that right. We're starting at certain schools, but by 2030, every school will have a slow zone. So we're working on it now, but I can have you take a look.
My main concern is Atlantic Avenue, because when someone is crossing this way, the car is turning, and they don't want to stop. It's an accident to happen any moment.
That's where there's I believe a DOT project.
Trying to construct.
Oh, no,
Going on where it splits.
we're getting ready to do something with it.
It's a mess.
Yeah, no, we know.
Sanitation wise as well.
Thank you. So we have one and then one. Yeah, I'll go through over here. Okay, all right.
Hello everybody, my name is Joseph Lasson. Everybody knows me as Joey. I'm part of the social media of the 75th Precinct. So I'm here today about open side parking for Monday and Thursday. We have talked earlier about. I'm thinking the whole time when we have those 3 months of fees come down, so we can have tickets issued. A lot of people do not want to move. And we can use sanitation coming down. Hale to Bridgewood, they're coming down 2 times on that side. When they turn around on Dalton and Highland, come back on my block is the last stop. So they're only been doing it once and maybe 2 times. It used to be 3 times. And I can give a lot of help for those inside parking that is not moving. I want to do that for September, so December. Fulton and Hale, they saw the young ladies that requested and are getting it done. They did a detour on Bridgewood and Hale, and 18-wheelers are making that right turn. I believe they should continue down to Jamaica, make a right turn, come back down and Norwood. If they gotta go up to to Logan, get back on Atlantic, that'll be more healthier because on the corners in the evening, everybody's double parking on the pedestrian crosswalk. It's unsafe for us to make a right turn, especially at nighttime. They can hit a vehicle and keep on going. And I'm doing more security cameras that can help any of my neighbors on the block. I'm basically like the warden of the security of the neighborhood watch. And that's what's going on. Same thing on Jamaica from Cypress Hills, Euclid, Chestnut to Norwood. They have the car wash going on and they normally don't do it. So I'm going to bring that up because they talk about it last week in my community meeting. From Jamaica, when we get that turn, looking down Highland Place, we have a little triangle block from Elton to Highland. They want to know if they could be a stop sign or maybe to reduce the speed, 15 speed. Because now you have a Mexican truck there, and it's blind spot. Ridgewood is like a school zone. In the case of them coming down 4th Street, because I got real homeless in that location, from Hale to 4th Street, they want to cross the street. It's dangerous for them to cross, so you can reduce the cars because they're speeding up Ridgewood and Hale to the intersection. As they get down to 4th Street to Hudson, to make a left turn, that's a blind spot. I just want to point this issue out.
You wrote all that down? Those are long blocks. Okay.
I want you to know we have been and they've been denied for speed bumps.
Yes.
Yes, they've been denied. Okay, so we got what, 4 more?
Yes.
Okay.
Back to that tour.
Mine
We're
is
going to close the stop after that.
Mine is real quick. I just want to say I bring greetings to the community for 5, and I understand the council wanted to have this information session because I learned a lot of stuff by sitting here. So I want to thank you, Mr. Nurse, for that.
Well, I'm getting a lot from all the transparency we already doing this right now. I don't think we would have had that last year.
Nope.
But some of them have been spoken about all evening. But the last one and the main one that I want to mention is that they did the sidewalks in our block, Evergreen and Cornelia, up until Central facilities. And they did half of the sidewalk from the library. There's no trees there or nothing. They did one half and the other half was left. I went out Friday and I caught up with workers who were working on Central Avenue and Jefferson. I spoke to the manager there, and they came back, they walked around with me to take the measurements and everything. They said it was gonna come back this week if they could, but because of the holidays that's in this week, they didn't come back in. But I don't want them to go away and not show up. The sidewalk needs to be complete. City. That's DOT?
DOT doing this because, you know, Keyspan does a lot of work. So it's DOT. So you just give us a little
Cornelia Street.
Evergreen from Cornelia.
Right, Cornelia Street between Evergreen Avenue and Central Avenue. the block does not, they don't, they sit there day in, day out, month in, month out, for years and years. They have all kinds of funny license plate or whatever on, they just sit there. And they take it
So
up a
what
lot
street is
of
that?
I beg your pardon?
What's the street, so we can,
Cornelia Street in between Evergreen and
Evergreen and
Central.
Central, okay.
So, something needs to be done about that. Rats and everything is building up in it, as well as the yard. At one point, the rats in and out. The garbage goes on around one end of the other, and hope that needs to be gotten out of
The yard at what was the yard? The school? 148?
Now, when cars park, there's 3 usual cars parked there and on site. When sanitation comes, he never gets a ticket, but everybody in front of him does. They never get those cars. They never get those cars, they never get tickets, and they never move.
It's a specific amount of.
Can I say something? There's 3 vehicles.
Okay. You say 3 vehicles that never get a ticket.
Okay, but if I just work with transportation, I just write tickets, so I know when I'm doing it, I like to because I need to come here. Certain places I have the most year on the back of out-of-state plates. The plate don't have that. He changes plates, he'll take that plate off and put it on another vehicle. So we know it doesn't match. We know, when y'all come down, y'all don't know. He sits out here, he alternates plates with different vehicles. The vehicle is filled up with junk. You can't even drive it. Visible junk, you look. So it's one vehicle that we didn't get removed because it was solely abandoned and it was literally, and I'm not going to be exaggerating, literally rats coming out of this vehicle because it's set since 2019. You've been parked those units since 2019 and haven't moved. So what do you do?
So what we're gonna do, just because I'm understanding, it sounds like some derelict, abandoned, junk-filled stuff causing problems on top of the sidewalk issues. So we're gonna flag this. We have it down. Did you give us your contact information? Okay, we got it. So then they're gonna take a look this week. Okay. Okay, last one. Close this out, Ms. Ethel.
This is gonna be quick. In terms of the trash bins, you said between 1 to 9 units, you have to put your garbage in a can. Over 9 units, what happens? Because we have a 16-unit building, they put all of their garbage out on the street in bags, and so it defeats the purpose for us to put our garbage out 2 or 3 family homes, and the units that's 16, we have another unit that's 11, and they just put their garbage out in garbage bags. What's gonna be done with that?
So that everyone is going to have to be containerized down the line. It's just the way we rolled out the containerization mandate, we started with 1 to 9. We will get to eventually have 10 or more unit. Yes, everybody will have to containerize in some form. So it will. That is coming down the pipe. Believe me. And also, just to tell you this, also, if a building has more than 9 units and it's received RAP violations from through the Department of Health, Department of Buildings, they are required to containerize anyone, regardless of how many units they have. So, 15-unit building, 1 unit, 30 unit, if they have 2 or more voting complaints, they now have to containerize as well. But eventually, the way it's being rolled out in stages, no matter how many units the building is, everybody will have to containerize.
All right. So first of all, before we leave, I want to thank Riceboro, I see Mr. Randall Teray is here, for allowing us to use this space. Thank you so much. It's not always easy to find a space. Thank you to Sanitation and DOT for being here. I learned a lot. I know my staff learned a lot. I thought it was very great how you all broke down actually how challenging it is and showed all of the steps that it takes to get a light bulb changed in the city. I wish we could go faster, but we are a beast of a city. So what we have, if you have given us a piece of paper with your contact and your issue on it, what my team is going to do over the next few days is follow up with you all on top of following up with the agency. You should expect to hear from us. Today is, what's today? Today is Tuesday. You should expect to hear at least an email, a phone call. Hey, we got your information. We're moving it through the process by the end of this week, okay? Sorry, y'all. We got interns now. So, it can happen. Okay, so we'll be calling it also, if for any reason a new issue comes up and you make a 311 complaint, one of the best things you can do is call our office and tell us what the 311 ticket number is, because we often go to the agency and they say, do you have a ticket number? And then we gotta call you and sort of the thing. The reason why it's not really important for that ticket number, it's important to show the data. Because all of these agencies allocate dollars based on where need is. And the only way the city reads need, because we can sit here and get all mad and yell all we want, but the only way they really understand it is when they pull up the dashboard and they see, wow, CB Garage 4, 5, and 16 got a lot of complaints, there's a lot of issues there. So put that in so we can have it for the record, and there's no excuse for us to not get the resources we need, okay? Okay. Thank you again for everybody for coming. Very much appreciate you all for your information. We'll be following up.
Please return my pants, please.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. I did my best. Advocated for the neighborhood. And hopefully you guys come to the next meetings when I post it on social media and we can use the voice. Have a good evening, everyone.